Join me as I take on the challenge of exploring every inch of the brand new Silver Nova cruise ship and share all the hidden gems inside. Welcome back to Tidal Horizons. Andrew here, and I hope you're ready because this ship is so unique in the cruise industry, you'll need to watch right to the end to see it all. After sailing on most of the major cruise lines and many of the more recent ships, this one is certainly a departure from the norm, and you're going to see what I mean. And what a better place to tour such a beautiful ship than Alaska. As we sail towards the Hubbard Glacier, this is our last full day on board. We've sailed up from Vancouver through the Inside Passage and enjoyed every minute of it. We've started our tour today on Deck 11 aft, and we're walking forward. One thing you're going to notice is the abundance of lounge chairs available all over the open decks. As we start heading towards the middle of the ship, we're going to see the Marquee, and we'll get a good look down here. This is kind of a Japanese style alfresco dining, I like to say. I'm not sure if it's Japanese style, but that's what it reminds me of. You have the grill for hamburgers and other lunch items. They also make really nice pizza in here. It's open for dinner and for lunch. One of the unique things you're going to see as we're walking around this ship is the outward facing design, and what they're doing is they're really favoring using the length of the ship when they design things rather than the width. So what that's done is really opened up the middle of the ship so that you're walking down where on most ships it's all mechanical equipment. You're going to be able to, have wide open space. This design choice will really become evident when we see the pool in a few minutes here. The view out here is just absolutely amazing. We are starting to see a little bit of ice in the water from the glacier, and we'll see more and more of that as we finish our tour around. As we continue to walk towards the forward area of the ship, we're going to pass down the middle, and this is this mechanical area to our left, favoring the port side of the ship. On the starboard side of the ship, as we come through this little passageway, you're going to find the aft elevators. So these are the starboard side aft elevators. The elevators, we'll look at them closer later. Beautiful glass enclosed, so you get a view every single time you go up or down. Now, this is really what you're waiting for. This is a fantastic overview of the pool area, and you can see that length that you get with this side design. Tons of space, tons of chairs. It's a large pool. It's larger than some of the big cruise ships that I've been on recently, including the Sun Princess there. It's the only real main pool on board this ship. We're starting to see some people now. So as we move closer towards the forward area of the ship, I guess this is where everybody's hanging out for the day and looking at the glacier. So just around the corner here, we have the Cliff Whirlpool. Now, this Whirlpool, it's kind of out over the side of the ship a little bit. It's got a glass front, so I'd call it like an infinity whirlpool. I'm absolutely amazed that nobody's in this right now enjoying the view. If I wasn't filming this right now, that's probably where I would have to be. Some nice chairs. There's all kinds of lounge space around here. So continue walking across this kind of a bridge, for lack of a better word. Get another look at the pool. And you can see just how big that pool area actually is. There's a cabana area. There's no reserved cabanas. Everything's included. There's no extras. First come, first serve. When we were lower down around, the Juneau area and downward Ketchikan, we had the best weather you're ever going to ask for at Alaska. So people were out there in force using the pool pretty much all the time. Just take another second, have a look. Beautiful scenery. Again, some shady areas below. Lots of seating options, different areas of full shade, part shade. I mean, this ship only has 750 passengers on board. So why so many chairs? I really couldn't answer. But you certainly have your choice. So we'll catch up with all the photographers as we head forward. And there is a wonderful viewing area at the front of this ship where I spent one evening just looking at the sunset. Beautiful full moon coming up at the aft of the ship at the same time, and kind of just as the sun was setting, this was coming out of Juneau, a humpback whale right across the front of the bow, probably no more than 50 feet off the front, and then down our side. Kind of came out of nowhere. So here we go. This is the observation area at the front of the ship. And as you can see, it is already very busy. You can see the Hubbard Glacier there off in the distance. It's a little bit windy up here, but, you know, the glass does help. Just a remarkable view. Just a wonderful way to end our trip. Start making our way now down towards Deck 10. Deck 10 is the location of the Observation Lounge. And the Observation Lounge is probably the highlight for most people on the glacier. Because you're going to get that really good view. You're not going to have to be outside in the elements. Now, today was absolutely amazing, so there was a lot of people, including myself, that kind of just passed through there, saw the crowds, and said, no, I don't think so. I think I'd rather spend the time out on the open decks. Now, really nice thing about this, though, they're up here, they're serving mimosas, they've got the hot chocolate going. Just kind of a really kind of festive feeling as we're getting closer and closer in towards Hubbard Glacier. But very, very busy in there. Lots of different places to sit down and relax. So, ladies and gentlemen, as a special event for us going on as we approach the glacier, and while we're there, we have our guest speaker. They did have a naturalist on board and a lecturer who was able to tell us a little bit about the glacier. He came on the speakers a few times to give us some information. Not the national park lecturers that you might find when you go up into Glacier Bay. I know a lot of the ships have those. Now, this is a little library. It wasn't open at the time. I probably could have pushed the door open. I'm sure nobody would have minded. But it was stocked with, probably a couple thousand books, 3 walls worth of books. For longer passages, that would be really quite a nice thing to have. Yes, I may have come back for a glass of champagne after we finished this deck and when I went to go have a look. There's all kinds of doors open out to the outside decks from the observation lounge. Wasn't exactly a warm day out there. I'm going to say it was probably in the mid-40s for Fahrenheit, maybe, let's say about 6 degrees Celsius. Now, as we come up a little bit further, we're walking aft. This is the S.A.L.T bar. Now, this was really nice at night. They had fantastic mixologists here. S.A.L.T stands for Sea and Land Taste, and it has to do with using like the local ingredients and dishes. We have the S.A.L.T kitchen, the S.A.L.T lab, which is a kind of a test kitchen. They do the chef's table in there, and basically what they're doing is kind of teaching you how to use the local ingredients, make local dishes, things like that. You'll also see further on in the video where we'll go by the S.A.L.T kitchen, and the S.A.L.T kitchen is where they one of the regular dining room restaurants that kind of has a varied menu. So they had some regular stuff for the voyage, and then each day they kind of changed it up, gave us a few more options for dinner. But we can have a look at that when we get closer downstairs. Look at the sun shining off the water there. Like, just picture perfect day. Couldn't ask for better weather this entire trip. This is that little covered area that we were looking at from above. Let's get a little bit of shade in here. Nice couches, tables, chairs. This is one of the other mechanical areas just on our left. So on each side of the ship, there are two mechanical areas for your smokestack and things like that. So that's what really opens up this middle part of the ship. You can see the rear smokestack there. So now we're on the pool deck. We'll have a look at the shower. Was closed for the day down here. Nice seating area, and then the main pool itself. Wide stairs, really nice layout. Nice poolside bar. And as we continue to walk down here, see, like, again, lots of seating. Probably tired of me saying that now, but it kind of was a topic of conversation with myself and a few other passengers. It's just, why are there so many seats? But the design of the ship just allows it. It just, they contained all that mechanical stuff off to the sides and just created this massive open area that, you know, like a big cruise ship would be jealous of. There's that much space on this upper deck. All of it out looking over the water, outward facing. Now, Silversea is completely all-inclusive. There are obviously some things that you can upgrade with, but they do have, you know, all-inclusive for your drinks. They include your shore excursions, your gratuities. All that is included in the price. Depending on how you choose your fare, you can also have your airfare included, pick up and drop off, and chauffeur service. There are a couple of different options there. So we're walking now into the Marquee area. Now the Marquee area, again, this is where the grill was, and also the pizza. In the evening, it is reservations, although it didn't seem to be a problem getting a reservation or a walk-in. There was always plenty of seating. Lunchtime, no reservation required. And right now we're probably about 8 o'clock in the morning, so I don't believe they were actually open for service at this point. Really nice. It is open underneath there. The one evening that I did have dinner out here, it was a little bit breezy, but they have blankets for people. They also had radiant heating over top of the tables, and it was quite comfortable. Lots of seating options, again, all the way down to the back of the ship. Now, as we move back to the back of the ship, we're going to get to the Dusk Bar. And the Dusk Bar was really nice as we sailed out of Vancouver because the weather was so warm and not much wind. For the majority of the journey while we were under sail, it was a little bit windy back here, probably not as popular as it would be in the Caribbean or in the Mediterranean. But this area back here was just packed when we came out of Vancouver. Everybody wanted to be in this area just to check it out. But again, lots of space. There's probably more public space on this ship than any I've ever seen, ever been on, in terms of passenger ratios to space.
It was first climbed in July of 1897 by Prince Luigi Amadeo de Saboya, also known as the Duke of Abruzzi.
Anyway, that is deck 10. So we've explored the outside decks on the upper level. There's certainly more walking to do and exploring to do down on the lower levels as well.
this national park.
So what we'll do now is we'll just pop down, we'll have a look at the hallways, have a quick look at the suite that I'm staying in, and then we'll head down into the public areas below. Alright, so let's have a look at my suite. This is stateroom 8056. It's considered a medallion suite. I was traveling solo on this trip, so more space than I could ever use in a million years. Nice little writing desk on the way in. This was great for, setting up a computer. The electronic controls were fantastic as well. Controlled the climate in the whole suite. There were also preset lighting buttons there, so I didn't even have to use the light switches, which is always a pain on ships, as most people know. Just trying to figure out what does what. 2 TVs in the suite, which was kind of nice. My only complaint would be have 2 separate remotes because they kept turning each other on and off. Sitting area with a table. The butler would be able to come in and put in a extension on that little round table so that breakfast could be served easily and set up, which was really nice. I did that pretty much every day. Nice little Bose Bluetooth sound system. A bar area with some snacks from the spa, cups, all the glasses, glassware that you needed. This was all taken care of by the butler. It is butler service, but it's, to be honest with you, probably glorified room service is more like it because you have a butler and a stateroom attendant who looks after the normal things that a stateroom attendant would look after. And a fridge where you could customize whatever you wanted. Bedroom made up as a queen bed. Very, very comfortable. One thing I always get asked about were the USB sockets for power. What was the power? USB-A, USB-C, European, US power, of course, the second TV. So it's very well appointed. It's not the fanciest decor of luxury ships I've ever seen. This is the second lighting control for the bedroom area. A makeup table. There's a laundry hamper there, another storage cupboard. Very convenient. Lots of hanging space, lots of hangers. Always a complaint on a ship having to ask for more. A nice little area there for shoes. Again, there's a major complaint for me is always, shoes getting piled up. And a little dresser area with the top drawer being a top load safe. The store your valuables in, obviously. So pretty much everything you could possibly want in a suite. This was it. This is the entry-level suite of the suite categories, ones that are bigger than a regular balcony. This comes with a shower with that rainfall head, which was really nice. A seat in the shower area, also a nice feature. And of course, the shower wand as well. And the suite also has a bathtub, which is always a nice feature. Double sink, sort of. I didn't get a really good shot of it there. I have a much longer video about this suite, a little more detailed. Check that out. I'll link that up above. And then this toilet has the 2 doors going in, and the door just happens to go right back out into that front hallway where we came in. Do check out the longer video, though. It kind of gives you a better sense of all the little features and nooks and crannies and the sizes of drawers and the balcony and such like that. And we're back out in the main hallway. So before we move on to the lower decks, the ship has arrived at the Hubbard Glacier, so I thought this would be a really good time to show you some gratuitous glacier video while reminding you that if you want the latest in news, reviews, and updates about Silversea, make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons on the channel. We cover Silversea extensively here, and there's lots more to come. Don't forget to leave a comment too. I love talking cruise with my subscribers. So just walking down the hall, just this really one nice little feature. Wherever the elevators are, they have these strips of white light there. So you can see that you've gotten to the elevator lobby. And we're going to head down to deck 5 to check out the spa area. Now the spa area on this ship, I didn't go right in just because I don't want to disturb people. It is a full service spa, and you can definitely find reviews of that online. So we're going into the theater area. So this is the Venetian lounge on the upper level. This is deck 5. This theater, for a ship this size, was fantastic. Lots of different seating options. You could sit up in the balcony, kind of a box style, traditional balcony seating like this. Down below there were benches, there were chairs. We'll see that from down below. But the shows here were outstanding. And when I say shows, I really mean the main stage. We need to do a full review, and I'm going to do a full review of the ship itself. I did find some of the, small venue entertainment a little bit lacking, but we'll get back to that. Now, let's move outside the theater. We'll have a good look at that later as we get downstairs. And we'll just come around the corner here. And this is the large boutique area of the ship. There are 2 boutiques. We'll look at the second one. It's on the deck below. This boutique is the larger of the 2. It has, some clothing items, a little bit of the logo wear for Silversea, but it's mainly focused on kind of luxury high-end goods. They tend to sell a lot of pre-owned high-end like luxury items, including Rolex, purses, things like that. And the lady kind of explained to me when I talked to her about it that really that's what people are looking for these days. I've seen that on other ships. On the new Sun Princess, they had a boutique there as well. So there's a little ship model, which I did purchase for my collection at a reasonable price. I think it was $70. Not too bad for one of those. This is the casino, okay? This is a huge operation, just bustling all the time. No, not really. It's a really tiny casino. There were more people in this one than I remember being in the Explora casino when I was on that ship in the spring. So 2 tables. I guess they do blackjack, poker, and then of course roulette, and maybe 10, 12 slot machines at most. There were always people in here in the evening, and even somebody sitting there now, I suppose. But it didn't seem like people were really on this cruise for the gambling purposes. So we're going to head down the hallway a little bit further, and this is the Dolce Vita Lounge. At nighttime, this is quite dark. It's a nice little sitting area, lights on the tables and such. During the day, because it has windows along both sides, and that, again, that side split mentality with the equipment, this is a wide open area from side to side on the ship, so you can sit on either side. Lots of seating. This is also where you would wait for your excursions. Very convenient to the stairs and the elevators. They have a grand piano that we just passed there for the evening time. This is the atrium. 3 stories of windows. Well, really 2, but then some smaller windows down below. The bottom of the well there, you'll see the shelter bar. It's kind of a champagne bar. If you're looking at the deck plans, it looks very different. It looks kind of closed off if you look at the deck plans on the Silversea website, that shelter bar, but it is actually a wide open space. So there's some washrooms off to the right there. And we'll just run down the hall here. This ship, it's the name Dolce Vita. There's a lot of European, Italian influence names on this ship. It tries very hard to be a European ship, obviously built in Europe, but it is an American ship. And that was the one thing I kind of noticed, is they really do try to be European or display that European influence. Maybe try harder than some other cruise lines that may have that naturally. That's the elevator lobby. There's a accessible washroom there. This is the Silver Note. Not open at the time that we did our little tour. This is a jazz club, or jazz dinner club, I guess you could call it. I didn't eat there, but I did go in and listen to the music. There's a small bar back there. A fantastic bartender, Eric. Shout out to you. Definitely worthwhile checking out. Some very talented musicians in there. No complaints. And it was nice. About after 8 o'clock, when people were winding up their dinners, there was always room at the bar to kind of go in and listen to some music in a nice quiet spot. So as we come along, we're walking aft towards the observation lounge. This is a nice little library area, and it wasn't widely used on this trip just because, you know, we're a little bit on the port-intensive side, being going to Ketchikan and Juneau and Skagway. We only really had the one true sea day. But there's some games, board games, some books, and of course there's the larger library upstairs that we already passed by up in the Panorama Lounge. Or sorry, the Observation Lounge. This is the Panorama Lounge. So as we come down this hallway, to our right, we're not really going to have a look at it, is the Connoisseur's Corner. That's a kind of a cigar club, mostly a smoking room for what I gather. This is the Panorama Lounge, and this, I think, was one of my favorite spots. Once you get past these things that kind of look like luggage racks for some reason, but it's actually decoration. Nice big bar area. This is where they hosted bingo, trivia, different contests and games were done in here. Really just a nice spot to hang out. Bingo on this ship is just old-fashioned bingo. You know, they just basically hand you a couple cardboard cards and you play for points, and at the end of the cruise you trade your points in for Silversea merchandise. No money changes hands, just for the fun of it, which I really like, because like these paying $80 for a tablet to play bingo on ships just kind of takes away from the old-fashioned, you know, notion of the game. And this is probably my favorite outdoor deck because it is sheltered from the wind. Beautiful wake view, lots of seating areas out here. You got the bar just inside, waiter service. I probably like this spot better than the Dusk Bar that we saw up on deck 10 because it's less windy. Quite pleasant sitting up here. Now, as we come down here, we're going to walk down the stairs, and this is heading down to La Terrazza, and that is the alfresco, we'll call it outdoor area for the dining room, which is the buffet during the day. So let's head down the stairs, and we'll head in and grab some lunch down at La Terrazza. So as we head down the stairs, I mean, the wake view is always just such an amazing sight. Love seeing that. Probably my favorite view of the ship. So we try not to fall down the stairs. Lots of seating outdoors, not really used. Right now, I guess a little bit too cool. Again, it's only about 6 degrees Celsius at this point. But beautiful, bright sunshine. Windows everywhere in the restaurant, so there was never a bad view. We'll see that when we get inside. So down these little side corridors, again, out of the wind, which was really nice. Lots of seating, lots of options. So let's go over to the doors, and this is one of my pet peeves. Is they have some doors, they have these tiny little opening and closing buttons, and it just takes effort for whatever reason to get them to respond. So we'll head inside the buffet. Now this at night is a table service restaurant that you have to make reservations for. It's an Italian restaurant. Wasn't my favorite in terms of Italian, but for breakfast and for lunchtime, it's a self-service buffet. So nice salad bar, sushi always at this counter, always some sushi up around the top. Kind of went backwards here a little bit, but so this is the dessert area. Lots of different desserts. Thought they did pretty good job on that. I'm not a big dessert person. And then this is the main serving area. If I was being honest, I would say there probably isn't as much choice here as you would see on some other small ships. I'm not sure why that is, because there aren't that many lunch options. It's basically room service or this, or the grill. Now, on this particular day, I couldn't get through that crowd because it was all about the seafood. There was big platters of lobster, shrimp, crab. The crab was especially good. Different salads. It was a bit of a feeding frenzy, if we're honest. And then, of course, let's circle back to dessert one more time. Gelato. I regret not having some of the gelato because it looked really good. So let's grab some lunch, and then we'll continue the tour down here on deck 4 when I'm all finished. So as we make our way out of the Terrazza restaurant, and we're going to head towards the middle of the ship here on deck 4. As I said, Terrazza, it's at night a reservation-only restaurant. Italian. I ate there once. It was pretty good. Didn't mind it. It's a little on the fancier side. It's not really comfort Italian food, but it's worth trying for sure. They have a little bit of an art gallery out here on deck 4. Some paintings, photography. None of it for sale. That's the nice thing on the ship. There's no art auctions. There's no pushy salespeople like you get on some of the other ships, which is really handy. So come out here. This is Kaiseki. We did have dinner there one night, or I had dinner there one night. It was very good. Again, Japanese. The sashimi was very good. It's a little bit on the fancy side, even for your standard sushi restaurant, but it was very good. We're heading back out here now towards the atrium again. Now we're on deck 4, as we said, and heading towards the Arts Cafe. Now we're going to look down here. This is the shelter bar again, down below us. You can see out the windows. Beautiful big windows. Lots of light everywhere. Really messes with the camera. And we're heading into the Arts Cafe. Nice spot for a coffee. Sit down, look out the window, relax. Let's head out on the deck here. A little bit on the wet side. Not as much open deck space on the lower decks as there are in the upper decks on this particular ship. Just kind of the way it is. We're sailing now across towards seaward or seward. So you have the mountains all along the starboard side of the ship as we sail. Head back inside. And this is the Arts Cafe. Now, inside the Arts Cafe area, there's the self-service computers where you can do some reservations. You can look at your tours. A little bit of a business center, shore excursion desk, things like that. All beautifully decorated, very welcoming. That's guest services. Never really much of a lineup there. Just people didn't really ever have a need to go there. It's all inclusive. You don't have to really worry about, charges on your folio or like you would on other cruise lines. Information screen just regarding our course and what's going on around the ship.
Good.
This is the future cruise area. There were several future cruise consultants on board. And this is the other little boutique. And this sold more I'm going to call it local items, so kind of inspired by the area that we're in. So there were some native handicrafts, logo wear, things like that. Some jackets, puffer jackets. A little more casual than the one upstairs, which seemed to specialize more in high-end goods. So this is the lower level of the Venetian Lounge. And you're going to get an idea of just how big this venue is for the size of ship. Now, keep in mind, this is only 750 passengers. Generally, there was only one show in the evening, not two showings. 9:30 p.m. was our typical show time, although they did push a couple of shows earlier to 6:15, depending on what our itinerary was. Lots and lots of options for seating. As we make our way out of the Venetian Lounge and head back out into the deck 4 hallway, we'll turn and we're walking forward of the ship. The theater is really unique. It's on the starboard side of the ship and really takes up a good portion of deck 4 and deck 5. It just makes so much sense the way that they've done it there to make it a larger space than a lot of the small ships that we've been on. This is La Dame Restaurant. It is a French restaurant. Again, not really my style of cooking. Cover charge, I believe, with the wine pairings and everything else, was around $200. Now, here's the glass elevator lobby one more time. These are the forward elevators. So really only one passenger deck left to go. And then, of course, the tender embarkation. So we'll head downstairs and have a look at deck 3. And this is where you're going to find the Atlantide Restaurant and the Salt Kitchen and the Shelter Bar. So this is the Shelter Bar. Nice little champagne bar, kind of a cozy spot. Wasn't super busy. They had a violin player in here most evenings, which was nice. And it was really kind of used for pre-dinner drinks, kind of waiting for your reservation maybe. Not the liveliest of spots on the ship, but you know, a decent use of the space down here. It was also commonly used for as a meeting point for tours and such like that. So we'll head down the hallway here. We're heading towards the Salt Kitchen and the Atlantide Restaurant. Now the Salt Kitchen is sea and land taste. We mentioned that before when we looked at the bar and the test kitchen upstairs. Local specialties, things like that. You know, so on this trip, crab, salmon, lobster, things like that. Atlantide is more of a general restaurant. They had always kind of steaks and lobsters, pasta dishes, you know, just a pretty wide variety of items that you can choose from for your dinner. Neither of these restaurants require a reservation, which is really nice. You can just kind of walk in. Lots of tables. I don't think I waited more than about 2 minutes to be seated any time that I headed to either of those two restaurants. And I ate at both of them. So the final item on the agenda is downstairs for the tender embarkation area. And this is kind of becoming a trend on board the new ships, is not to have this kind of be your typical, you know, ship basement. You know, now what they're doing is they're really decorating these places up. In fact, on this ship, we're even using it as a recreation space, as you're going to see, for the ping pong tables, and they're having a tournament as we're here. So, you know, really nice way to have a multi-use space. the embarkation point for the tenders or the gangway is here. This is just a good use of space, and again, towels, water, whatever we needed was ready for us before we went on shore. All the various ports that the ship has visited. Nice plaques on the wall. Become a maritime tradition for a gift to be given from the Port Authority and to the ship, and then the ship would give something back to the Port Authority. So let's hop in the elevator. Take one of these glass elevators all the way back up to deck 11 to kind of wrap things up. I hope you've enjoyed the tour. It's really a fascinating ship. The use of glass, the use of this side split kind of theory to really open up the decks and not make them inward looking, but make them outward looking. So every time you got on an elevator, it was a view. It was just a fantastic way to get around the ship. Nobody ever standing looking at their toes. Everybody's always looking out at the view out the elevator windows. Brief stop here on deck 10.
Deck 11.
And we'll head up to deck 11.
Doors opening. Going down. Doors closing. Doors opening. Going down.
So what a trip. Quite literally from top to bottom, I think we've covered the whole ship. But there's always more Silverseas to explore. Check out this video here as we continue to bring you the best in luxury cruising. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Leave me a comment. Let us know what you thought of our Silver Nova tour. Have you been on the ship? I'm always happy to answer questions. And I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. Thank you.